And I recently had a conversation with a woman who told me that her rent went up 100% in 5 years. And she told me that she was scared, that she was embarrassed, and that she was ashamed. Being a person of limited means should not lead to shaming. And when you're a hardworking individual where both of you are working in your family, that's nothing to be ashamed of. More and more seniors are ending up homeless, and to have worked your entire life, 30, 40 years, and then end up homeless, to me, is a tragedy.
This story does not provide the answer to this enormous problem, but it does demonstrate the opportunity for a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization like AARP and other organizations with a trusted brand to work with local residents and leaders, business owners, developers, and planners to identify and remove barriers to creating livable communities. Places where housing is affordable and accessible, where there are mobility and transportation options, and where the positioning and availability of community supports and services make it possible for people of all ages and abilities to remain in their homes and communities throughout their lives.
A charrette today refers to that intense period when you're bringing together a lot of designers, engineers, elected officials, and planning code officials that gives the community a chance in real time to make suggestions, to see what they're interested in, give input to the designers, and for the designers to present their ideas to the community and get feedback.
We're motivated in this work because we know that older adults, for the most part, want to age in place. They want to stay in the communities they've always lived, and that's not that different from anyone else. Most people, that's where their social connections are, that's what they're familiar with, that's where their loved ones are. So the degree to which we have communities that are or are not supportive of people's ability to age in place, really that's where AARP's interests lie.
I've been such a big affordable housing advocate for so many years. To have allies in the discussion is incredibly important.
What's really unique about this process, number one, it's not being led by the city, and it's able to involve a lot of other partners, developers, other investors in the community, to be able to look at how is it holistically we can solve some of these problems of housing, land use, and gentrification.
People need to feel that they're part of the process, and not just feel, but actually really influence the process, because in the end, I actually think the public makes a better decision overall. Sometimes the experts don't get it right. When I see what's happening here is that there's an active way to get people involved in many different ways, like the barbecue cookout. We're getting people together to think about their neighborhood. Getting more people to be involved in the process is just so important to creating a great city.
Imagine, what could we do? What tools do we have, either from AARP, the state of California, the building community in general, that we can improve that to make it more livable and answer that bell, answer the call of how do we provide affordable housing.
Especially here in Silicon Valley, in the San Jose metropolitan area, which is the most expensive housing market in the nation right now. We're seeing the highest number of first-time homeless who are seniors than ever before.
We have two very unique opportunities here in the 13th Street corridor and around the Berryessa Village to be able to really chart a course for this city over the next several years about how we're going to develop vibrant villages around our transit infrastructure, and how we're going to retrofit aging business districts into mixed-use villages that will be inviting for people of all ages.
San Jose Flea Market site on Berryessa, which is about to become a new BART station. We're inventing from scratch an entire new neighborhood, and it is going to be much higher density, but that also provides all kinds of other opportunities, especially with the integration with a lot new kinds of employment. And that's a really great kind of opportunity for people of all ages and all modes of mobility.
It's really great to think about livability as the concept that's driving the entire design, really designing for people to age in place and to think about the way we design cities differently is going to be super important to the way that we think about the future of our cities. So it's great to have AARP supporting that and letting us kind of think about it from that direction.
For this place, with all the changes, with jobs coming to that area, with new housing, we have to get that space right. It's got to be a place that people want to spend time in.
But it's just as important to think about some of the older commercial corridors that San Jose has. San Jose is rich with commercial corridors that were once neighborhood serving. There are communities like that all across the country, and each of those also represents an opportunity to redevelop, to rethink, to reimagine the role that those communities can play now, even though we live in a very different society.
Northside is a pretty neglected area, and we sometimes feel like we get the short end of the stick. We have a lot of places that can be kind of revitalized and taken over, and new visions could be implemented in them, such as multi-age communities.
Very excited that AARP is partnering in this project. You know, we've been working with the city for a long time, and an organization like AARP is one that the community does trust. Part of the reason why folks have been a little sleepy about North 13th Street is because it's a transitional neighborhood, so we are a working class area.
These are all challenges that are difficult for a business owner, and so whenever you have experts who can come in and give guidance and also bring people together, that's exciting. It's something that all business owners really want, really need.
Like a butterfly, I believe that this district has a lot of potential. It can change, it can transform. It's really a request from us, from the community, to our elected officials to show some love for our community and the district.
By the end of this week, people will feel very satisfied with the distance that's been traveled, beginning with conflict in some ways and ending up in agreement in many ways. There are a lot of regulatory barriers to resolve still, but this model really gets San Jose and the community and the landowners off on a great foot that really greases the wheels, I think, for some fantastic redevelopment in the near future.
And we're hoping that this is the beginning of that discussion, and that the work being done here can help to guide the city as it tries to realize its goals to integrate affordable housing into that space as well.
After coming to some of these presentations throughout the week, and then this final presentation, it's an eye-opener, and it's inspiring as well. So we're excited. I'm excited about the possibilities.
This is an important conversation for all communities to be part of. We know we're aging as a society and as a nation. We're going to have more people over the age of 65 than we do have under 18 by 2035. And so what that means is this is a conversation that's great to have in San Jose, but we need to have these kind of conversations all over.
What are the components of this process that we can take and replicate in other places so that you can use this idea, you can use this technique to really invite community input in a way that is very thoughtful, but it's also very productive and forward-looking and applied.
So we're playing a little bit behind the curve, but if we all get on the bus together and rally around improving communities and empowering our neighbors, then the mission of AARP is alive and well, and our time here hasn't been in vain.